Greetings.
Hello, friends.
Welcome to the chat.
Welcome to our SugarLimeBlue chat. This week, we're talking about the song we're doing, and it just so happens we got an email this week, or a new submission, new sign up on our website where you can go and sign up for our email. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks because social media is getting weird, and they are not.
Social media has been weird, let's face it.
Yeah, it's been weird. They're not letting us get out to the people, and they're sending it to less and less on almost all platforms as more users come around.
Well,
it's harder and harder for us to reach our own audience.
Absolutely. As they're publicly traded, they want more paid advertising, even to your own fans. So if you guys don't see the other side of it, we know on Facebook specifically, going to call them out because I'm more familiar with that platform, because that's what I've used to follow people that I wish to follow. So I have to go hunt. We can't invite you to our SugarLimeBlue page. So
go to SugarLimeBlue.com and sign up.
We can't invite you, so you have to go and find it. So once you make that plan and you go find us and you like and follow, it still doesn't always push out our content to you. So you may be missing things that you've already elected to see because of algorithm, funding, whatever that platform is doing. So what we hope to do is, if you are genuinely interested in following us, following the band, seeing what we are up to, then we want your email. So we're just cutting out the middleman, and we will direct email you, and you can direct email us. And that way we can just have that open communication without any kind of middleman in the way of that. So we received an email.
The email is from Richard Saunders, and it says, "Ever since I found you guys online, I've had a smile on my face. I love your music, I love your creativity, and I love your song selection." Thank you, Richard. "I don't know if this is the right form to make this ask, but I'm going to go for it anyway. I would love you to do a version of Collective Soul's Shine. Looking forward to more of your work. With deep gratitude, Richard. P.S. Do you ever play gigs in Canada? I'd love to see you in Toronto." Yes, Richard, we can do that. And in fact, we're going to do it this week because
we've
recorded. Done it. And it's in
done.
the can.
Yeah.
And here it comes at you. We hope that you like it. And we hope that you enjoy. Thank you for taking the time to write us a letter.
Thank you for the words of kindness and encouragement as well.
We do get emails, and we appreciate them very much. And I think that, one thing we haven't been very good about is highlighting some of the emails that we get and responding to them. And we're trying to get better at that. So bear with us as we learn our channel. And we do appreciate you guys, for sure.
We are now Milners because we have to craft new hats to wear all the time as independent artists. So email response team is also us.
Yes.
So
yes, it is. So
it may take a minute for us to adjust and wear a new hat.
First, I'd like to address the Canada. We do not play in Canada currently.
Yet.
And we have not
Let's
yet.
Put a big YET on that.
We would like to one day. We actually have friends in Canada. We've met some.
Richard.
Yes, we've had several followers through the years in Canada, in different parts of Canada, and we have several friends ourselves in Canada that we've met in music conferences and such this year.
For sure.
So we're looking for an excuse to come. We haven't yet, but it could be more feasible in the future.
And one thing
we're looking that way, and you can always send us ideas of where to play.
We're both very excited today. Can you tell?
So, yeah, you can always send us ideas where to play. That being said, let's move on to...
No moving on. I'm not done. So one thing you can do also, if you want us to play in your area, is to host a house party with you and your friends, or to help be our street team and help us find the venue that would host us and places to stay and eat and things of that nature. The regular human things, along with the tour side of things. So if you're interested in having SLB in any of its formats out with you,
we're getting bigger into the house concert things.
Then let's discover that together. So there's nothing too big or too small. Message us, and we can help work with you and make it make sense.
No matter how affordable you think it is, I guarantee you it's probably more affordable than you think. And no matter how fun you think it is, it's going to be more fun than you think. So message us. Let's get that started. We're doing several this year already.
Mm-hmm.
We got
very looking forward to it. Yeah.
And we just mix it in with some of our regular touring. So anyways.
So nothing's out of hand, just a no.
No.
So yeah, if you want us, let us know.
And moving on to
now we can move on.
The basic or the main part of this chat, which is Richard's suggestion. The song we're going to discuss is Shine by Collective Soul. So I remember when this song came out. I'm that many years old. And I remember hearing it and instantly liking it. And in fact, I became an instant Collective Soul fan. And one of the early gripes, I guess if you could call that, about this song is not something that I immediately related to. I wasn't heavy into the grunge scene at first, even though I had the Pearl Jam albums and the Nirvana albums, Stone Temple Pilots and Alice in Chains. I was more into a classic rock type of thing, like Led Zeppelin. And when this song came out, when I first heard it, I immediately took a like to the song. The riff rock harkened me back to Led Zeppelin and that style of music. And
is Collective Soul considered grunge?
I say that because like this particular song, because of the heaviness and the drop D tuning and the pre-chorus.
Because I would call it like clean cut grunge, maybe.
Yeah, so like because you know their whole catalog, but if you think of just this song and the pre-chorus where he does the drop D riff,
yes,
it's pretty heavy and it's very grunge-like. So they. At first, there was some concern that they were getting pigeonholed in with the grunge movement, and they didn't consider themselves a grunge band per se. So they consider themselves more riff rock, which I would consider them that way also. You know, and I think maybe I identified it correctly because of the music that I was listening to at the time. I wasn't really listening to
the grunge,
a lot of grunge, you know, right when it came out.
See, I was listening to more of the grunge at the time, and I guess that's why I kind of hesitated to call it grunge, because it didn't feel
the same.
The vocals and everything.
The vocals are a lot different for sure. But the you can think of,
and it wasn't angsty at all.
It's really the heaviness of the riff, and it's one of the two signature riffs. There's actually lots of hooks in this song.
Absolutely, I was kind of surprised at revisiting it. I'm very familiar with the song, but revisiting it, the different sections, they're all independently strong, but strung together makes a nice flow.
So Steve Miller has a quote. This from Steve Miller Band. He said he thinks that each song should have at least 5 hooks. So I can immediately identify 3 in this song right off the top of my head.
Musical hooks or lyrical hooks?
One or the other. Any type of hook. Something that pulls the listener in. Right. He says, and just when you get used to the hook, then it should be a new hook that's like, what's that?
Okay.
So we have the primary hook that it starts with, which is the melody guitar riff, which, funny enough, the lead singer Ed Rolland, and the primary writer of Collective Soul's material. So he was working on a bunch of riffs, and he called them drone riffs because he had basically riffs that were an open string with melody against it, which that's what Shine is. Okay. And he felt like this was the strongest one, and he went home. In the late 80s, he was working on all this stuff. And he went home, which I believe somewhere in Georgia. I mean, they're out of the South. And he went home, and he played it for his brother who had been playing guitar, and they finished writing the song that night. And became Shine, which became Shine, but it didn't get released for 5 years.
So many songs are like that, though.
So, anyhow, he had this riff, and he riff rocked it out, and so that's the opening lick. Right? So, and that's all against an open D. So that's the first hook. Getting back to that. So the hook number 1, and then the other guitar hook that I would consider, it may be even stronger than that hook because of the abruptness, is the one that it ends on in the pre-chorus, which is the da 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 da. That's the drop D riff.
That's the most recognizable musical hook in the song.
And it's the heaviest part of the song.
To me.
So what's interesting to me is and this is part of the reason I wanted to talk about the hooks of the song, is that riff is so immediately identifiable and so hard to remove from the song, and probably the one thing that keeps it from being immediately changeable, or where you can change some songs to different, you can interpret them through different styles and things. However, that song being so immediate, this riff, without getting rid of that riff entirely, I don't feel like you can change this song that dramatically, because It's clearly the heaviest riff in the song. It's iconic.
The song. Yes.
So if you choose to do away with it, you're immediately changing a big part of the song.
Right.
But you're also changing a big feel of the song, and almost like you would almost change genres. It's so dramatic to lose that riff.
Yeah.
So we chose not to change it dramatically, and we chose to keep that riff in.
Yep.
Is what I was going to say. So that would be hook number 2. Hook number 3 that I find is a vocal hook, which is the whoa, 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 right before the heaven. Like you can do it better because you're the vocalist. I can sing the guitar parts. Example?
No, you'll have to wait till tomorrow.
Okay. So the chorus riff where he sings the woes right before the heaven let your light shine down. What other hooks do you find? Do you find any other ones in this one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the yeah.
It's interwoven with the musical.
Which, oddly enough, he leaves out a lot of times live.
Often. And it's, I wonder if it's because of the method that he used. We learned while we were listening to one of our, we watch music documentary things and little snippets about the music industry and whatnot. Dave more often than I, but I will walk through the room while they're happening and pick up little nuggets. So one of the little nuggets that we picked up was how he recorded the and got the sound for that. It wasn't an effect. It was a physical effect. Yeah. He actually used a paper towel tube and said into the paper towel tube into the mic. Mm-hmm. So that gave it that iconic sound of the So I wonder
once you hear it, you can't unhear it.
Now you can't unhear it. Yeah. So you go get you a paper towel tube and go So
along with the song tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
All right.
We'll do a sing along.
If anybody records that on video and sends it to us, I'm going to say if they have a song suggestion, it's going right to the top of the line.
Okay. All right. There's that. We could do that. We can do some fun things like that.
That'll be amazing. I would love to see somebody.
For sure.
It would be so amazing.
Yes. Okay. So I wonder though if that was kind of a meaningful discovery in the studio for him, and he didn't wish to mimic it live because he didn't want to carry around a paper towel tube and give it away.
I mean, they could have mimicked it with reverb at that point, and nowadays for sure.
I know nowadays, but he generally had a guitar in his hand too, so that wasn't. You can't hold a paper towel tube and a guitar.
It's odd to me that we haven't done any Collective Soul,
We both enjoy them.
Yeah, I think I had all their first 4 albums.
Well, you introduced me to them. So.
I really like a lot of their songs, honestly. So, interesting that we haven't done any.
Yeah.
Are there any more hooks that I missed and forgot to mention? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to go through the entire song in my head, and that might take a moment. I don't know.
Almost. So even though it only happens twice and we left out one of them, but we did choose to keep it in, which means that it is kind of hooky, is the double time part. It's basically the same progression. It is the same progression. All it is a double time feel, and they do it for the solo first, but then they go back and revisit it in the outro.
Hey friends, go to SugarLimeBlue.com right now to get your hat and t-shirt and our new Ritz guitar logo. See you there.
Which I always thought was interesting about this song. The very first time I heard it, it actually surprised me both times, which is unique because you're revisiting a part that already happened, right? So
yeah, it's like a reprise.
When it went into the double time, I was like, oh, wow. And then the guitar solo happened, right?
Now, did you know why you wowed, or you just you had a response to it?
Here's the thing, right? As far as consumerism in music and what's played on the radio,
nobody listens to the radio anymore.
And I'm talking back in the day, though, when the song came out.
When we all listened to the radio.
Even nowadays, it's not often that songs surprise you. And most people don't like surprises in music, surprisingly to me. Because I like musical surprises.
Well, you like a musical challenge.
I will literally just play scales that are out, or a riff that's out, to catch people's ear and have them look and they have this confused look that maybe was a mistake, but I don't know.
Perceive it as perhaps a mistake, but it's really just an ear. And I hesitate to say hook, but it is kind of it snags your ear and makes you. I've watched people during those interludes that you do physically turn and face what is going on there, because generally you don't do it just the once. You'll do it 2 and 3 times to communicate, this is not a mistake, this is purposeful. I'm doing something different, or doing something interesting, something just to snag your attention out of whatever it is that you were doing again.
It is interesting, but, somewhat speaking, this probably, as a listener, especially in the early days when I hadn't been exposed to a ton of music, it did surprise me that they went to a double time, and I was like, oh wow, and this is really cool because now listen to the guitar solo, it's complete fire. You know what I mean? So that was really cool, and then they dropped down back into the verse, and that's somewhat expected to bring it up and back down, and they go back into the main riff, then they do another verse, and then on the outro, all of a sudden they bang back into that double time, and it feels good. Well, it feels good.
What do you think about the song lyrically?
Lyrically, it's interesting because this part is also funny to me. Much like they had a lot of people saying they were grunge, they also had a lot of people say that they were a Christian band. And they were like, he was like, no, just because his dad was a Southern Baptist minister. Okay. So that added fuel to the flames, I think, or maybe even was a big part of the reason they shaped it that way. And he was like, why do you think that? Like his response was a question, and they were like, well, because you mentioned the word heaven, and he's like, he says, Led Zeppelin sings Stairway to Heaven, and nobody says they're a Christian band. Right. And people are like, right, okay, point taken. So they always contended that they were not a Christian band.
Well, they could have been Christians in a band, or a couple of them could have been Christ followers in a band, but not everybody. It's different to have a belief system than to have artistic content. Like, you're going to have a bleed of your belief system into your art, I think. But it is different to be classified as a religious musician versus being a secular musician that has a religious value. It's different because of the business side of things, because of how you're marketed, the venues you can be in, and honestly, the people that flock to you just based on your genre would be different.
I would say that, okay, this moment is for one of our fans. I need my soapbox. I gotta get up on it. So my soapbox moment, and that is, I would almost find the Christian music label as offensive as like country music that panders to an audience, because a lot of times I think that it's pandering.
I understand what you mean.
I feel like that years ago, when we just had rock stations and country stations, there were bands like DC Talk that wrote good music, and they were Christian musicians that wrote Christian music. That was good music. There were people like Rich Mullins. There were people like Phil Keaggy. And they didn't make any bones about it, And for me as an artist to just be played on a radio station because I write about a certain topic is kind of offensive to me. And it's also like, it'd be the same as me writing a song.
It'd be like, I'm on the Tree and Water channel.
It would be the same thing as me stopping what I'm doing right now and writing songs about girls in tank tops in my pickup truck and going downtown Nashville and pitching those songs. It's that offensive, that like, why should I be a certain genre or have success just because I pander to a certain audience?
Right. Well, I think...
okay, I'm off my soapbox.
Yeah, I think it gets a little sticky when you talk about either politics or religion. You get in the weeds a little bit with it. And the thing is that people, by and large, we want a little bit of an echo chamber. We want people that believe the same things that we do to be around us, validating the things that we have come to believe. And that includes... some of the religious beliefs, and smart, greedy people have figured out that there is money to be made off of people's faith, and that's what I find offensive.
And I guess that's part of it.
It's the business side of things. So I don't necessarily like put that on the artist, though. I feel like a lot of artists that I've heard, they It's not about, I'm not talking about musicianship. Give me a moment. Because I hear you sighing over there.
No,
it's not about musicianship.
No, I was going to talk about musicians.
It's about their true faith and their expression through their gifting, which happens to be music. And they have found a place for that in their community of religion. And I will not knock them for that. I think that's fantastic. No. I do think that to solely be pigeonholed, that's the only thing you can do as a musician who happens to be, and I'm talking about Christian music in particular, because we've watched the machine of the Christian music industry eat up really good people and spit them out just bones.
We have.
And it's really disgusting.
And I was going to mention that maybe more what I'm talking about on my soapbox is we've been really good friends and even just acquaintances with some varying degree of successful Christian musicians, being that a lot of people don't know that, but not a lot of people don't know that just Nashville is a country music hub, but it's also the Christian music hub.
It really is, yeah.
So we've come in contact with some really successful Christian musicians.
We'll give a little history. Before we started the project of SugarLimeBlue, Dave and I actually were in that world of Christian music. Yes, we worked in Christian music as at churches. Worship leaders also in original works. So it was, we were just at the beginning of that. No. We're speaking from a little bit of experience here. But
my thing is that knowing how that works, and not specifically on us, because we were never into it that deep as some of our friends who had great success at it.
Partially because we saw what was happening, and we reined that right in.
They said, they were basically controlled by their label in a way that secular artists would be controlled, in the fact that they were told, okay, your album doesn't have enough Jesus mentions. Your album is not happy enough. Your album is too emotional. These are things too emotional. I mean, come on. Your albums has too much ups and downs. It should focus more on the positivity. And that's just not realistic.
No, especially because anybody in the faith community understands that just because you have faith or a religious belief system does not mean that your life gets easier automatically. It just means you have a support system, other people that believe the same as you around you that help hold you up during those times. So to just make music about the good bits really just, it almost demonizes any kind of negative emotion.
I read a stat one time. So the Psalms of David, which is the book,
they're so sad.
Right? Well, not only that, it's like
they're languishing.
It's something like 85% of them would be considered like downtrodden or sad.
And complaints. Yeah. He complained with some music.
And this is the example we have, but then the industry, no, they don't want that. So anyway, that was an aside, and
we took a rabbit trail.
It was a fun aside, but let us know. Okay, first of all,
I said we were going to talk about love. We got to talk about some love. We're in the season of love. It's February.
Well, it's going to have to wait. This is running long.
No, love. We just say, I wore my love shirt today. Love. Valentine's Day just passed us by. We hope that you celebrated love in some capacity.
Whether it's for your chickens, like we have.
Yeah.
Or your cats or your significant other. And also, we want you to know that we love you. We love our followers very much, and our friends. I hesitate to even call anybody that follows this channel followers, because I think you're so much more than that.
I agree.
You're each very bright and intelligent and smart and lovely, and we're happy you're here.
And we don't use the word fans, even though you may identify as a fan. Like, we feel like you're friends that we just haven't met in person, a lot of you yet. So
I feel like friends are something that do something for somebody they like, and
each other.
I think that by listening to our music and tuning in, you're automatically a friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyhow, did you want to talk about more?
More love?
Love?
Yeah. There's a lot of different kinds of love. No, it's good. And I think that, we went down this kind of road on religion and music and whatnot. I think putting those positive things out in the world, not necessarily positive content in the form of art, but putting your love out into the world in whatever format you're using, whatever medium that you're using. That's really enhancing your community. So thank you for all the love that you've given to us.
I think you could just go as far as saying putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Because most of the time it's what damages the world is putting out fake selves or agended selves or not putting yourself at all.
Yeah.
You know, and not taking chances, not taking risks because you don't want to be hurt, you know.
Or rejected. Yeah. Because it's painful.
It is.
For sure. Yeah. So we accept you. We're glad you're here with us.
So on the subject of love, smash that like button down below. Show us some
It's got
love.
a little heart. Yeah.
And then leave a comment. Let us know if we missed any hooks or what your favorite hook in Collective Soul Shine is. Is it the ba da 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 da, or is it the yeah, or is it something else? Tune in next week, and we'll be back with you.
And tomorrow for the song.
Tomorrow for the song. We got lots of content out there. If you get bored, go and check it out. Drop us some comments. We'd love to see you. Send us an email. Maybe we'll do your song next.
Send us an email and those like paper towel songs. Please.
If we don't get back to you right away, please don't be offended. We're probably on the road or writing a song or recording a song or editing video.
Also,
or
we don't know what we're doing about half the time. We're just figuring it out.
Driving somewhere or writing in a book of where we should be or making a list of things we should be doing. But anyhow, we do appreciate it, and we will see you soon.